Do you see Donald Trump coming up with the idea of the perfect race?
Yeah, I think Donald Trump has become very clear in who he believes is an American and who he thinks is not. And the unfortunate reality is that, contrary to what this country stands for, we are not really in a place where his rhetoric has any validity. Our country is a country that is based off of embracing diversity and not just tolerating it, but celebrating it. And very clearly, he believes that those who come from a select background, those who come from a specific race, a specific ethnicity, a specific social class, are the ones who should be catered to. But society reaches its pinnacle when it understands the service of the most underserved and the most underprivileged. And I'm confident that the country is going to rally around true values of integrity, honesty, and truth that don't see diversity as something that's disadvantageous, but something that helps us to be really the best that we can actually be.
So what is happening now with Muslims, you know very clearly that with Donald Trump, it could happen with anybody. So nobody is safe. Even could happen with Christians, could happen with the evangelists, could happen with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Is that right?
Well, the challenge when we see segmented bigotry and we fail to stand and speak when we have the ability to stand and speak is that it could come to us. And we know many individuals who have famously said that they stood by and watched as minorities were persecuted and they didn't stand and say anything. And then when people came to take them and persecute them, there was no one left to stand in their defense. You know, it's an unfortunate reality if we have to be people who go through hardship to understand hardship. And I pray that no one has to feel what it is that many are feeling at the vilification and demonization of Trump and those who are like him, of a variety of minority groups, inclusive of Muslims, but not limited to people who are women, people who are black, people who are Latino, people who are immigrants, people who are refugees, people who have special needs. That we don't have to go through the realities that they're facing in order for us to understand what it is that they actually are experiencing.
I'm going to say a few words, but I want to open this up with some of our religious leaders. I think it's important to hear from them. We asked and we reached out. This is something that I felt was important to do because New York City needed to come together. Someone that lives here in New York City that is running for president does not represent what we represent. And so we wanted to hear from some of our, so this was pulled together as of yesterday. And this is the response we got. So thank you all for coming. I want to ask Imam Khalid Latif from the NYU Islamic Center, he's a police chaplain as well, to come and say a few words and open it up for us.
The disparaging comments that Donald Trump has made over the course of his campaign against minorities of all kinds, including Muslims, Latinos, African Americans, women, those with special needs, and others, are but symptoms of a deeper and ever-going bigotry that our nation must confront. It is hard to tell whether the news we are reading is new news or the same from a previous day. Every day seems to bring word of mass shootings, more displaced hate on minorities, and extreme voices from the Republican Party being bigoted and silent when strategic for their campaigns. It is Ben Carson who said that he would never let a Muslim into his cabinet and that a Muslim could never be president. Mark Rubio who said he would be open to shutting down mosques. And Ted Cruz who said only refugees fleeing ISIS who could prove they are Christian should be taken into our country. As these voices speak unchecked, we see a rise in anti-Muslim sentiment that is arguably worse than even the backlash experienced immediately after September 11th. They give rise and justify to those who in the recent weeks have burned down and vandalized mosques all over this country, who have pushed down women wearing headscarves onto train tracks, shot cab drivers, and even in our own city validated for 3 young men their beating of a 6th grade Muslim girl in Harlem as they punched her, beat her, tried to rip the scarf off of her head, and called her ISIS over and over and over. That is not okay. We have to be better than that.
That's right.
I am a Muslim. I work as a university chaplain for New York University. I serve as a chaplain for the New York City Police Department and am given the rank of inspector. I've traveled on behalf of the State Department, met with the heads of Homeland Security, shared stages with the likes of Pope Francis and the Dalai Lama. I'm still one of the many Muslims in this country who have been detained, profiled, and surveilled. My home has been visited by the FBI on numerous occasions where I have been told that I am being watched because I am too good to be true. As much as I am seen as an antidote, I am still seen as a poison. For no other reason that I choose to practice the faith that I do. That is not okay. But I still stand in front of you believing that we can and will be better. We as a nation have a choice to make. At a time when we are still debating whether Black Lives Matter or not, candidates for the highest office of our land are making statements that are indicated they speak for only a select group of Americans. We can no longer let our perspectives of each other be fueled through a media machine that seeks to sensationalize and bombard readers and viewers with narrative that serves to only segment and antagonize even further. The amplification of extreme voices has to be drowned out by our coming together. The ignorance of ISIS or the Republican right can no longer be the basis of how we function in diverse societies. We must learn the reality of struggles faced by those around us by actually being with them, as opposed to simply through the biased images that are cast in front of us every day. We do not have to be women to stand up for women's rights, Black to stand up for Black rights, or Muslim to stand up for Muslim rights. If you see something, say something must mean something different to us today. If you see bigotry, say something. If you see hatred, say something. If you see racism, say something. You and I have to be the change that this world needs. We cannot adopt a bitterness or passivity that lets people who have no interest other than their own self-interest succeed. We cannot lose hope. Tomorrow will be better than today, so long as you and I do our part. Our coming of together is only meaningful if we continue to come together tomorrow. We are one New York City. Let us be the reason that people have continued hope in this world, and never the reason that people dread it. Woo! All right.
Watch our Latino show.
Yeah.
The Latino show.
Oh, how exciting.
This is a famous actor right here. But we would all just have to watch your show.
Oh, it's about to begin.
It's going to be a lot of fun watching.
Latino TV.
Beautiful. Kiss me again.
Passion commune.
You keep watching here
On the Latino show.
Very
Listen,
busy.
it's all about these sneakers.
Going home and getting naked.